Now, it would indicate that the beginning of April for you, Aries, might be quite a spiritually engaging time, or a time where we have these energies that come to us that are going to come regardless of what the situation is. It's more about the fact that it's not you necessarily controlling it, it's just part of your karmic life cycle and energies that are all rolling and happening and flowing. They happen to be two beautiful cards anyhow, so they're suggesting quite spiritual activities and energies. And it doesn't surprise me that, given we're talking that the time span we're doing this reading for is your birthday period as well, quite often around the times of our birth period or birth zone, we ignite that whole birth story back into detail again. It's, you know, when people celebrate a happy birthday, it's not just for the reason of wishing you a happy birthday and the fact that that was the day you were born on. Our birthdays are about that connection to our spirituality and our soul essence, and it's about honouring and remembering the reasons at that spiritual and soul level why we chose to come into this life and what we chose to experience. So celebrating your birthday is far from just being a idealistic or physiological celebration. It's much more in depth and should really be given the consideration and time and energy towards seeking connection with yourself every year. So anyhow, let's move back to the general essence of the cards. We see here one yellow, predominantly sunny looking card, and the rest of them feel a little bit grey or blue. Now, often the grey or blue cards denote thoughts of the mind or your intellect or your verbal capacity. So something in the month of April is making me think of you guys thinking and going into your mind a lot and contemplating perhaps your journeys, who you are, where you want to be. And these two quite big spiritually connected cards right at the beginning of the month herald that as well. It's almost as if you reach some point and you're saying to yourself, okay, I really do want to connect and follow my path and understand what lessons I'm here for and what I need to be doing to take myself to the next point. If we look at you've got the two swords as well, and they are also about thought and intellect and your mind, your mind constantly on the go and thinking of things. And a couple of things in the reading point to balance. This one points to having maintaining balance and an even keel. This one points to balancing out relationships and partnerships and keeping things in perspective, not just of your own perspective, but others around you. This one points to balance, again, twos, and that's talking to me about relationships and partnerships, the black and white of life, the night and dark, the yin and yang, positive and negative. So there feels as if there's a whole lot of balance in April that you'll either be thinking about, contemplating, working through, or it will just turn up in your life and there will be situations that you either are required to balance or you will feel as if they are balancing out one way or another. We'll come to start the reading off with the Strength. She is the epitome of your internal strength. So it's not so much necessarily physical prowess, it's emotional strength here. And the sign of this, when this card turns up, it's suggesting that you're in a state where you can ooze this energetic feeling out to others and appreciate it yourself and feel your strength and your capacity for tolerance, understanding, nurturing and balance and sympathizing. That's what this card embellishes, all of the positives, and it can often be involved around relationships as well. And we get the feeling of relationships because we've got him up here who is overall picture in the month, and we've got this over here, partnerships, and we've got this, which is quite often sexuality and relationships as well. So I think April is a month where relationships are going to come into the alignment, as well as your own relationship with yourself and others as well. We see the 8, the cycle of life sign up here. Again, this is a beautiful symbol and an analogy of our spiritual connections and the fact that all life is cyclical and that cycles repeat themselves, and that you're at the stage of something in your life you're connecting or repeating or learning about again. And it's an interesting card for Aries to get, because as a fire sign, you do have this amazing inner strength. It's kind of how the fire is ignited in you, and fire is a powerful force, and it's very important to you, Arians, that you can learn to harness your strength in the best positive way, because, as I say, you are a very strong zodiac sign, if you like. You have this deep inner strength as well as almost a physical strength that exists as well. Now, health-wise, this is a very good positive card for health indicators. It would suggest that you may overcome health issues in the month as well. Now, if we come to the High Priestess, another major arcana, she's very spiritual. She holds the book of ancient knowledge on her lap, and she has really deep connection to esoteric information, the sort that people seek and strive to find the answers of humanity, of who are we, where did we come from, where do we go to, does heaven exist, do souls exist? She holds the answers to this, and when she turns up in a reading, it's suggesting that you are, again, as I said earlier, connecting at some level. You may find yourself very psychic or clairvoyant, or feelings of connection to spirituality at all levels. This can be religious spirituality or the more, as I say, esoteric connections. You will possibly find dreams very enlightening at this time, and this also connects to this card here, which I will move on to shortly. We often mention she is a sign of fertility, so this could be a time of pregnancies and very fertile period in your life. She's also really connected to the moon as well, and moon type influences, which are very feminine, and feminine cycles, which I talked about, the cycle of fertility as well. So there was an eclipse, I think, in March, and eclipses can play a very big part in our lives. Some of us are more affected than others, but the message may be that an eclipse may be affecting our emotions and our immediate future, probably up to for around 6 months at a time. An eclipse can have an effect, and that could be a message for our reading as well. She is a pillar of, as I say, knowledge, understanding, especially spiritual, esoteric, religious connotations. All of that type of energy and influence might be surrounding you in April for various reasons. If we come here to the 9 of Swords, we see this person sitting in bed looking really stressed and worried about what's going on in their head in particular, and what's going on around them. Why are they so stressed? Oftentimes this card suggests nighttime worries. You may suffer from insomnia at this point in time. So again, this can be related, I find, to eclipses and moon cycles. Often when we have really intense full moons, we seem to struggle to sleep, so we can go through periods of insomnia, and the eclipse may affect that as well. You can have intense dreams, and some of them can be nightmares that worry you or prey on your thoughts and your anxieties. And this is a card that often suggests periods of anxiety and tension. So it's suggesting look at the reasons why these might be occurring in your life, and take some time out and slow down and balance things again. We've got a lot of messages in the reading about balance. The other thing I'm getting a message about is that there will be interruptions for one reason or another, and unexpected interruptions, and what we have to learn with those is that they occur for a reason. It's interesting because while I'm doing this reading, my camera battery keeps dying on me, and I have to keep stopping and recharging my battery. And I've thought to myself, well, there's a message in here for you, Aries, and a message for the reading, and it's about taking the time and still going through all of the essences that you're meant to. Even when you have a pattern that is disturbed and throws you off a little bit, you still go back, carry on, and restart it, trace your steps, and go through the procedure again. Oftentimes you'll find if you're getting interruptions or something stop and start flow, you'll find that along the way you've missed doing something, or you've been so quick in trying to get it done, you've gone off track slightly and need to readjust your direction. And that can often be what she is talking about, spending time intuitively and listening to your psyche and your gut intuitive sense, because she's very strong with that. We come to the Two of Wands towards the latter part of April, and you will know before that I sometimes associate this card with the potentiality of travel. So some of you might be going on a trip, because this person is staring out, holding the globe in his hand and looking out. The other things that it can interpret or bring energetic resonance to are relationships, because we have the Two Wands, and it's about balancing relationships and listening to the other person, because he has his back turned to one of them, but he's holding one wand. So we must remember to embrace not just our own thoughts, desires and passions, but embrace those of the people in our lives around us, because everybody plays a part in who we are and the decisions we make and the directions we take. It can be a card of knowing that things are firming up. You're looking to your future, whether or not you're dissatisfied with something currently in your life right at this moment, so you're looking into the future. But provided you bring balance into the direction you're looking in, it should flow quite smoothly. And if we think of finances for the month of April for you all, other than this card here, which is probably the one that creates the most angst, the others generally say there's a steady flow of energy, including your finances. But this third week in April could show a sort of a slight glitch phase where things come to a bit of a halt, which might be what causes your anxiety. Now, if we come to the overall energy card, the King of Swords, he is often depicted as a person in your life, and often an air sign person, or a person who gives off that energy. So they're quite boisterous or determined, and they are quite wordy and verbose, and they have set ideas, and they can be very rigid, and they can be very demanding. So this could either be a person who's currently in your life who is showing some energetic sort of putting his weight around in April. It could be a work person, it could be someone in your family, it could be a friend, or it could even be yourself acting in this manner. This person could do with learning to balance things and learning not to intimidate others and learning to listen. So again, we get this feeling of listening for the month of April, of keeping things in balance, of thinking how others feel before we voice our opinions, and maintaining not too much of a rigid status quo. Be a bit more bending and giving if situations crop up that you sort of think, I'm not going to give in, or I want my own way. Be a bit more bending and reflective, because often it takes you into this position of great inner strength. And when you have that in the right energetic form, you actually have the power to literally suppress anything. So Aries, I think it's a really cool reading. As I say, 2 big major arcana cards. You've got nice sort of energy for the month of April. You've got maybe a little bit of angst going on here in this third week, and this person in your life who could be either coming in, could be a new romantic partner, and if this is how they are, you have to learn to adapt to them. Quite often you're not going to get your way with this person in a hurry, because they are quite dominant and strong in their own way. And they often do have lessons for us as well. They're quite intellectual and intelligent, so there may be some good information that this person can pass across to you. Whether or not he's a father figure or an older person at work, he could be giving you some sort of insights that are quite valuable for the month of April as well. Well, just for the end of the reading, I will do one of your higher energy cards, and I think we will use just to finish your reading off, we are going to pick one of these beautiful Angel of Atlantis energy cards and see what comes your way for the month of April. So, a little bit of shuffling first because they've been sitting in their box for a little while. Grace, Gabrielle, the beautiful energies of Gabrielle and the gift of grace. So Gabrielle is one of the two first archangels of God, and she is known as the messenger. She is a motivator and a communicator, and she's here to help move you into that realm of grace and reconnecting with your soul's message. And it's really interesting that we talked about that earlier in the reading, how I said when it comes around to our birthday remembrance period each year, that we have this desire to connect back with the soul and find out what our true meaning is and why we're actually here, and regaining the essence of that and getting back onto the path of it. So I think, Aries, you've got a really profound message for this month coming ahead for April. Some of the other words from the readings from this particular deck, it suggests that Gabriel wishes you to receive the heavenly gift of grace, and this is always given when we require it most. Therefore, consider how you may have miscreated an aspect of your life and are experiencing an absence of this divine elixir. Gabriel is asking you to unfold your wings and fly like that beautiful swan to cleaner water. There you will sample a renewed state of being, sensing the purities of life and truly recognizing your soul as a gift of grace. I think this is a message too for any of you who have been feeling down or disconnected in some way or another, or discombobulated. It's about that reconnection gift. The other message sometimes that Gabriel brings in is fertility and conception. And also that was in your cards quite highly at the beginning as well. And remember, fertility and conception can be often about childbirth or bringing in a child or someone new into your family, but it can also be about the conception of creative and idealistic formats and thoughts in your mind, because Gabriel's also known as being the angel that helps creative work for artists and writers and poets and people who are in that whole creative field. So I think, Aries, you've got plenty of scope this month to really uplift any of these beautiful, really potent messages for you.